Hey peeps, in this video I wanted to show you how to rewire Ableton Live into Logic. So Logic is the main DAW and you're just kind of using Ableton Live as an instrument. So getting access to all the cool stuff that Live has that Logic doesn't have, and so on and so forth. So there's a few things that we need to set up first, but it's pretty easy. And there's two main points that we need to consider. One is data flow and the other one is audio flow. So Logic preferences audio. By default, Rewire, which is the technology we have to use, is off because it eats up some CPU cycles. So I've put that onto live mode and then hit apply. All good. So now we can control Rewire. Then we would launch live, and when launching live, it will kind of know or sense that you have a Rewire host, as they call it, and kind of turn into an instrument rather than your regular live. So now live is in a sense being controlled by Logic for certain aspects. You can kind of check this quick if you want by going to Live's preferences, and in the audio tab you'll see that we don't have our usual sound card settings. It just says Live is running in Rewire device mode and audio I/O is handled by the Rewire host, so Logic in our case. Okay, cool. So it seems to be working. So what we'll do is we'll just split these over so we can see both. So here I've got some MIDI and I'm playing just a standard Logic instrument B3. And let's say I want to fire this over to Live and do something in Live that I can't do in Logic, or use an instrument I don't have access to in Logic. Cool. Like the wavetable synth, yeah? What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new track, and I'm going to make what they call an external MIDI track. It's external to Logic, but it's not a physical MIDI box outside. But for us, it will make a new external instrument track here. Drag down that MIDI so it'll play back something. Over here, if you haven't already got it in the library panel that opens up, you can see all the different devices that we could send MIDI to in theory. And the one we're looking at is Ableton Live. So we want to select Ableton Live and we're going to choose the cheese channel. The reason why it's called cheese channel is that's what it's called here. So I could also call it potato, and then it would be known as the potato channel. Fantastic. So now if I hit play, this MIDI should be coming back through Logic and being sent into Live. And as we can see here, Live seems to be responding. Not only that, if I fire the keyboard, I've got a keyboard to my left over here, you can see that I'm triggering this instrument inside Live from Logic. Cool. So we can send the MIDI data there and it seems to be working. What we can't do is hear the damn thing over in Logic. So that has one extra step that we need to do. I've got a couple of things here which I can get rid of, so I can just delete these tracks if I want. And I will just go delete used and continue. So what we're going to do is we're going to, over here, we're going to create a new auxiliary strip. And that's just your standard auxiliary channel, and maybe we want to rename that and we'll just call it Live for now. So we've got a few things we need to do. We need to choose its input. And what we're going to do is we're going to click and hold and we'll see physical inputs if we had connected to our physical sound card, if you had one, internal buses to Logic itself, and here we can see Ableton Live Rewire or Waves Rewire, which can also use this technology. And here we have L&R, which is the main master bus mix in Live, which would be anything that's going on over here. So you could have multiple channels being summed to Live's master bus, and then you would pick up all of the master bus information over here. But let's say you wanted a multiple synths and you wanted to have those coming into Logic with multiple streams of audio, so you know, separates, if you will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose Ableton Live Rewire 3 and 4, and that should pick up the audio if we're sending anything on Rewire 3 and 4 inside Live. So how do we do that in Live? We're going to come audio 2 at the minute it's set to master bus, which is the default. We're going to come up and we're going to go Rewire out. Rewire out, and we're going to choose which of the buses we want, 3 and 4. L&R is obviously reserved for the master bus, so we should be receiving MIDI from here because we're sending it to that channel, and we should be hearing audio coming out of Live into Logic and pick it up here on this auxiliary channel. So if we turn up this fader, fantastic. Now obviously this is now available in Logic's world to be used with with anything else. So we could set up another internal bus in Logic, send some to it, and on that bus we could have, you know, reverb. So we're receiving the audio from here, coming back into here, and now we're just playing in Logic's mode. Fantastic. So what we could also do is make another GM device, also choose that going to, let's say we want another channel, so I'm going to copy this MIDI down and change who's playing. And in Live, I'm going to make a new track, and I'll grab a different wavetable effect, synth lead, for example. I will just grab that, drag that over there. So now we've got two wavetables. This one's a thick wave. Over here, we just need to choose, well, send the MIDI to a thick wave, please. Back over here, we're going to make a new auxiliary track. You know the deal. This one we're going to save as Ableton Rewire 5 and 6. Make sure we do the same over here. Rewire out, Rewire 5 and 6. And we should have two pieces of data going out and two pieces of audio coming back in. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope this helps. If you're interested in using Rewire, it's kind of old tech. Nobody really uses it anymore, but I thought as a brain experiment of signal flow and data flow, you could find it useful. Thanks a lot. I hope this helps.